all new. Good evening. We do not have a member of the Ministerial Alliance with us this evening, so we will stand for a moment of silence. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I call the September 16th, 2024 Board of Alderwomen meeting to order. City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Sierra McMichael, Rachel Kilmer,
Here.
Pam Pope,
Here.
Kelly Netto,
Here.
Tracy Newcomer,
Here.
Melissa Johnson, and Mayor Dana Webb.
Here, thank you. The next item on the agenda is new business deletions or continuances. We do not have any of those this evening, so we will move on to public comments. City Clerk, do we have any public comments?
There are none.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. These items are considered on the consent agenda, so the members of the Board of Alderwomen, by unanimous consent, can designate routine items to be approved by one motion. Tonight, we have approval of the September 3rd, 2024 Special Board of Alderwomen meeting minutes, approval of the September 3rd, 2024 Board of Alderwomen meeting minutes, expenditures through September 12th, 2024, and the August 2024 financial statement.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda. I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is unfinished business. We do not have any unfinished business this evening, so we will move on to new business. The first item on the agenda is a public hearing regarding property tax rates proposed to be set by the City of Oak Grove for the year 2024. Staff, do we have a report?
Yes, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
So the public hearing tonight is to receive public comment on the proposed 2024 tax levy for the City of Oak Grove. By state statute, the city is required to set the levy by October 1st of each year. Cities are required to use the certified assessed valuation figures received from the county clerk for each year. As portions of Oak Grove are both in Jackson County and Lafayette, we receive valuations from both Lafayette County clerk as well as Jackson County. We received the Lafayette assessed values at the end of July and Jackson County at the end of August. Certified values are used to calculate the proposed levy. The city also is required to submit the assessed value figures and proposed levy to the state auditor's office via pro forma review to ensure that the proposed mill levy complies with the Hancock Amendment. State law requires that all real property to be reassessed every 2 years or every odd numbered year, making this a non-reassessment year, meaning that our overall assessed valuation figures really don't change much year to year. So the overall levy is set as the same as last year at 0.7647. The general fund is 0.4836, and the debt service fund is 0.2811, with a total revenue of about 1.3 million, which is equal to last year's revenue as well. The total levy of 0.07647 is the same levy for the past 6 years, and does include a voluntary reduction of 0.2809 mils. Just for some context, the total levy for all taxing jurisdictions within Oak Grove last year was 7.69 mils, meaning that the city's levy is approximately 10% of a person's total property taxes. So what does that mean for a homeowner here in Oak Grove? So say a house is appraised at $300,000, and Missouri residential property is appraised at assessed at 19% of the appraised value. So a house that's appraised at $300,000 would have an assessed value of $57,000. The levy is then calculated at a per dollar value for every 100 of assessed value. So the proposed levy of 0.7647, you could consider to be 76 cents for every $100 of assessed value. So meaning that $300,000 house would pay approximately $436 a year to Oak Grove in property taxes. Overall, the property tax equals about 14% of the general fund budget and about 72% of our debt service budget. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks.
Does the board have any questions for Matt?
I don't think so. I guess with the news and kind of the questions about the Jackson County tax thing, is there a chance this could change down the road? Or how, I mean, it's kind of unprecedented, I guess, if something does change with them, how does that impact us?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, there's certainly anybody watching the news, anybody who's been a homeowner here in the last couple of years in Jackson County certainly has probably been watching with some earnest on the Jackson County assessment process. There's probably things that, like any process, could be improved. But ultimately, what the city is required to do in any other taxing jurisdiction, such as Snai Valley or the school district, we're required to use the assessed values that are certified to us.
Okay.
And so, it was on the news. You can look it up on CaseNet. But Jackson County did file a lawsuit against the State Tax Commission on their order to roll back the assessed value figures. Certainly, that case, if it goes through the courts, will take time. But yeah, there's what that means in the future. It's probably anyone's guess, and probably legal scholars would have input to that. But
Okay.
yeah, for us, we use what we get from the county. We're following state statute as we're required to do, and certainly we'll move forward, continue to do that. And if things in the future, if there is a reduction or there is a credit applied to future taxes, that would be something that the city at that point would have to budget for and solve.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Members of the public who wish to offer testimony regarding the property tax may step forward at this time. Please state your name and address in the microphone and direct your comments toward me. I now open the public hearing. If there are no public comments, I will now close the public hearing. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action for Bill Number 24-19 regarding an ordinance establishing the tax levy for the city of Oak Grove.
I move for the first and second reading by title only of Bill Number 24-19.
A second.
We have a motion and a second for the first and second reading of proposed Bill Number 24-19 by title only. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. City Clerk, would you please read the full title of the bill 2 times?
An ordinance establishing the tax levy for all property within the city limits of the city of Oak Grove, Missouri for the year 2024. An ordinance establishing the tax levy for all property within the city limits of the city of Oak Grove, Missouri for the year 2024.
I move for adoption of Bill Number 24-19.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the adoption of Bill Number 24-19 for ordinance. Any discussion? If not, City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Rachel Kilmer,
Yes.
Pam Pope,
Yes.
Kelly Netto,
Yes.
Tracy Newcomer.
Yes.
The motion is approved, and Bill Number 24-19 becomes ordinance number 2118. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding a special event permit for the Oak Grove School District for the Homecoming Parade and Bonfire on October 23rd, 2024. Kim?
Yes, we did receive a special event permit application from the new athletic director, Ryan Schwartz. They are requesting to have the bonfire on Wednesday, October the 23rd, and then the homecoming parade on Friday, October the 25th. The parade would be from 1 o'clock till 3 o'clock, and would follow the route that was proposed last year on 14th Street.
Okay. I think, were you done? I didn't want to interrupt you.
I believe that is all that I have.
Okay.
If you do have any questions, Megan Kemp is here this evening, and she is the
Perfect.
sponsor for the cheerleaders and the parade.
Megan Kim, is that correct?
Kemp.
Kemp, excuse me. You might as well come forward. We always have questions. I guess for me, my thing was I stood last year at 14th and Salem with our police officers and watched the parade, and safety is the biggest issue. Chief's here to speak to that as well. Some of the other ladies may be able to speak up to that. Main concern was people park in First Baptist Church, which, that's fine, they do, but then I witnessed cars going back into the parade, that disastrous moment that you see.
Yeah.
And then the large gaps between the parade, like a long time, you think it's over, and then suddenly you go, oh, the parade's still going.
Yep.
We all love the parade, we love to attend, we want it to keep happening, but I think safety is a really big concern. Ladies, any comments?
I would definitely like to see maybe clear communication on parking. Last year on the west side of Broadway, there were cars parked on both sides of the street, which turned it into a very, very narrow one-way street.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we could possibly put up temporary, no parking signs through those smaller streets, but that was definitely my big concern from last year.
Yeah. I didn't notice it. I sat right downtown and I thought it was fine, but I'm not
Yeah.
arguing with
And,
you.
and to be honest, I've always sat downtown.
Yeah.
This year, I just happened to walk out my door and hang out with the officers, and I got to see firsthand what they were dealing with as far as that, cars going the wrong way at the parade, and then cars coming out in different areas. And then knowing that we've shut down Broadway and we've got semi-trucks waiting on both sides to get through. We love it. We wish we didn't have to do that. Wish we owned our downtown and could do it that way. Don't get me wrong, we want, we want the parade. We just want it to be smooth
Right.
and safe for our whole community.
Was last year the first year of a new route? It was, wasn't it?
With
No.
the 14th Street, it was. We've
was
always
Oh.
done the 14th
Yeah.
and the 16th, but
Yeah.
last year they cut it down. Which it makes more sense that way, but it was pushed back to that 14th Street. So it was making I think it said 2 parades. I've never sat at the end. I've always either been in the parade.
Yeah, totally, I
Or
know.
I've been running
Yeah.
it for the last 4 or 5 years now, so.
Right.
They went to the 14th Street, which I think helps a lot, especially with confusion towards the end.
So,
It does.
okay, so we're saying the 14th Street, the new thing last year helps.
The
Yes.
parade
The parade
itself,
itself,
but
correct.
not the
Not the
parking.
traffic and the
Yeah,
parking.
because people, obviously, and I would have too, you park at First Baptist Church, but then there's 6 exits to leave First Baptist Church? Well, my kid's done, he's at the beginning of the parade, I'm gonna go get in my car, and then guess what? I can't get out.
Correct.
Because
So-
Salem's blocked, 14th's blocked, 12th's
Got it.
blocked, I'm stuck.
Correct.
And, okay,
And then what happened was, people just went ahead and went out. And they
Right.
went right toward the parade that was still finishing.
Why don't we just block off parking at that church?
Well, I don't believe we can, right? Or that we'd have to have permission from the church, right?
We would
Yeah.
have
We
to
would
have
ask them to.
communication with the
Yeah.
church to do
I
that.
don't think
Not
we
that
do
there's any financial gain for them, but it's a prime parking spot. for the
Totally. I
parade.
mean, and I get why it's there, but moving it to 14th caused, I feel like, chaos for that. I get the 14th instead of 16th. That made it long, going all the way down.
And I
It just,
think that was for the bigger floats originally, because that turn, I think that's what it was, that turn
harder.
has that big ditch.
Well, if I may speak freely, there was a little bit of confusion in that the band would turn on 14th, the parade would go to 16th, and then we're covering 2. And with the
Correct.
gaggling of things or the spacing of things, we literally ended up, like you said, with 2 parades.
Yeah.
And we couldn't control that. So 14th is a better option. I think maybe our traffic control has to go a little bit deeper into that parking lot in that they can only go out north on Salem.
yeah,
Yes, they may live south, but we're a small enough city that.
You
if
can go around.
north on
That's the thing,
Salem,
yeah.
It's 3 minutes, you can come back around.
Yeah.
But,
and just maybe push all parking to primary building and high school parking lot,
High school is, sorry.
Yeah, no.
High school is used to line up the whole
Yeah.
parade.
Oh,
That parking
yeah,
lot is
that's right.
pushed to the max, so I would not.
Yeah,
So I think it sounds like First Baptist would be great if we just used cones and blockades.
Maybe shut down
on
one of
all
the
other
entrances to it,
exits.
so they can't
Yeah,
go as far down.
a
but-
lot of that may also be asking for extra assistance from the district as well,
And-
because
yeah.
I've got 8 guys to work with
No, I
that
get it.
day, and
We-
Broadway takes all of our concern, Broadway and 12th.
Yeah,
We do have the option of career ladder right now, so we have asked teachers last year, and we can really push it this year to have extra staff be wherever you need them to, and they'll like offer or volunteer their time, because we have the career ladder option at the school now. So I know that that could help with coverage, even if you just put a teacher right there and they'll help. I mean, you know, you tell them what to do, they'll do whatever you need.
yeah,
So that could help bring extra people. I know that my assistant coach, her husband works, he's like in the police academy or something, and they just helped with a parade in Blue Springs for like volunteering. So I would 100% help with like getting extra bodies out there for that kind of stuff, if that's what
good.
it takes.
yeah. I mean, that's what we need, just to. you
And
know,
as for the
safety.
gaps, that's because we have the band that stops right there at, is that 12th Street?
12th, yeah.
Yeah, and then our football players, they stop, and we let half the senior football players get out, and they always make a speech. It's something they've done, I don't know, forever since I've been around, but they do that, and then the cheerleaders also stop right there, a couple floats, like they're like a good chunk ahead. They'll stop and get out and do a quick cheer and hop back in and go. So that's probably where you're seeing the biggest gaps. I know again, I ran it by myself last year, and I've been around for a couple years, so I'm not an expert, but just what I've noticed between those two things, and with last year we had an issue with the fire truck's going a little slow, so the parade was really slow to get started. I ended up sending my assistant coach down on one of the gators to like get them moving a little bit.
Yeah.
So we know that this year, so it'll be a little bit faster. I've got extra coaches that can help get things moving. We've figured out ways to keep it moving, but the main thing with the gaps is the people getting out, and that's my biggest question is, are we able to do that this year? If we're not, I just need to know so I can change the plans and let everybody know.
Chief, what do you think?
I'm gonna take the heat there for, not being a traditionalist, but we are shutting down a highway,
Right,
and we have a finite amount of time. The parade itself does not take the 2 hours, but the shutting down of that traffic and then the reinitiating that traffic fits within that 2 hours, and then we're done. We have to be off there. We're beyond our permit. So the concept of the band coming down to 12th and Broadway, coming around the corner, setting up and playing, works in the field of the rest of the parade coming around 11th and backing up to them and getting ready to go. And once the band is done playing, the parade is ready to go and it's ready to move. I just cannot condone stopping the parade after that point. I know there is some tradition that I'm gonna be saying, okay, well, they're not gonna get to make these speeches and such.
But they also make speeches at pep rally, don't they?
At pep rally,
Okay.
and the bonfire, right?
And the bonfire.
7 games a year, they're all being seen, there's everywhere that they're being seen. This is not an instance where they've never seen this or heard this or done this. And to stop on the highway and to prolong that and cause those gaps, it's frustrating for the crowds, it's frustrating for the traffic, and it's frustrating for the officers who are actually taking the brunt of all of that, that need to do it. So while I admit that the band needs to stop, I'm not giving preference to the band, but that's just something they stop and they play to get the parade up to them. But once that band's done and they start moving, I think it needs to keep moving. That would be my recommendation.
Okay.
I mean, my thought just, I'm from Oak Grove and seen a million parades too, and it is a special, a tradition. But like, I feel like the cheerleaders can do a cheer while they're walking.
Correct, and
easily.
I don't know what the rules were with the walking next to vehicles. That was gonna be my second question.
Oh, no, we're fine with that.
Okay, so
And
that
then-
won't be an issue.
And then the football players, most of them only say like 6 words anyways.
Correct.
So it's like, can we just put a speaker on it and they can say it as they're driving
they're
by?
driving by,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
We are also okay with just pushing that to the pep rally
Okay.
and maybe letting them do it then.
Yeah.
The other thing with the band, I know that they just stop right there. They don't actually play. They just stop and then they wait, the parade goes, and then they go out and do their corner. So is that still,
That's still fine. I mean,
Yeah.
because there's some previous political and viewing pleasure that goes with getting that 11th to 12th connection. Because if we don't do 11th, we cut out a third of the parade route on Broadway.
Right.
And so, let's, you know,
It's too crowded.
we can still absorb that 11th
I
Street.
would say it could also be an option, instead of the band stopping there, because they just stop, wait, watch for a while, and then go out, they could
Why do
just.
they do that? Why do they not just follow the actual, like, I've never seen anything like it in my life. I mean, I've lived here for a million years, but previous to this, I don't understand why the whole parade route just doesn't follow the entire parade route. Why
I
do
can
they do that?
understand why band doesn't go around, but I don't, that would probably be a Nathan Long question as to
okay.
why they
I
stop
didn't
right
know.
there and don't just complete the corner. That, I can't answer to that, but I can say they could probably just go and just continue on instead of stopping, but then it's gonna mess up the whole flow of everybody going around.
And this,
I meant, why
this
don't they go
seems to
down
be,
The
what's up,
11th.
Kim?
the-
Well, I'm sorry, I
Austin
was
is
just
what
gonna
she's
say,
saying.
my kids were in band,
Yeah.
and the
Mine.
reason, I believe the reason that they do that is because the band turns a corner in a specific way, like military style.
like to show off their
And
marching
so
skills
they,
or whatever.
but if they did that, they would, like, turn the corner at Austin,
there's
turn the
another
corner at
corner.
11, turn the corner at
Yeah.
11, turn, and then go down Broadway.
It'd be too
I
many
think they go to
corners.
12th,
I
they
think-
do their official corner, and
It's
it's a
also too
practice
small of a
for
road.
their, yeah, and it's practice for their competitions that they do for parade, you know, like,
Okay.
Makes sense.
for the competition season, for their parade marching, the corner is part of what they're judged on. Staying in line, being uniform, and making that. So I think that's where that was kind of born out of.
Okay.
I would
So-
just, I'm
You go
sorry.
ahead. No, I was going to try to figure out where we were at.
I was just gonna say, I like, if we can, I like the idea of still using the First Baptist and blocking off some of the exits, because we've got a lot of people with very young children. They're not wanting to be that far away from them, that, you know, they want to be able to get to their children.
Yeah.
So if we can direct them on, you know, through one exit and get them to go around. And then I'm glad to see that we're on the same page this year as far as the route, because last year it was a little.
Yeah.
Just a little
bit. So,
So just to be clear, they could use First Baptist Church, but you would direct them north. So someone would have to block everything and only let them out after the parade finished on 12th.
Yeah.
A little chaotic, but if you had forceful people there to make that happen, I guess it could work, right,
And
Chief?
probably some signage. I mean, does it have to wait until? Yeah.
Well, yes, but if you let, say it's what, I mean, people start lining up at 5:30 a.m. on Broadway, so if they start parking at First Baptist Church at 10 a.m., then you're not going to put barriers in till, you know, at some point, and then you've got to have one way out, just one way out. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying
Put
too.
the-
Oh, put the
them
barriers
in
there, yeah.
right when the, or
Well, I
right
think
before
what-
the parade starts.
I think what Chief's saying is,
Yeah, one way
that's where
out.
we need the school's assistance.
Gotcha.
They need to come, no?
because I can load the parking lot with cones. I can
Okay.
load the exits with cones. But what we
Perfect.
saw last year is the cones were not a deterrent, and they just drove around.
I saw it
Yes.
5 times in front of my
And
house.
So I need.
They just picked them up, they drove their car, and then their other person got out of the car and put the cone back.
I need a physical
So you
body
need
to
both
stand
the
there
cones
to,
and
Yeah.
if anything else, point.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I can't guarantee the numbers of people, but I know I could get a handful of teachers across the district to come
Really
help.
just one per exit.
Yeah.
Just to give people the direction. Because we all know we lose our directional ability once we're behind the wheel. So we need to have
Yeah.
someone tell us which way to go.
And
I
then
don't
with
know
the
that it's-
littles, we also mentioned, obviously I know all the coaches and stuff, and then Little League coaches, I'm in contact with them, and I can really make a point of emphasis to let those people know, like, hey, pump the brakes, wait a minute, we can go get your kids, but you can't go back towards the parade once you pick them up.
Absolutely, please.
Or just wait till the parade's over, and
Yeah.
have a meeting point set up. Everybody always goes back to the high school. So I can really make sure we point that out to them better this year, and that's on me. I should have been better about that. I apologize. So.
No, I mean, it's all learning and,
Yeah.
and, you know, and
It's
when
a
you
big
change a
parade.
route or if you change things. And, I mean, the city's growing, more people come to the parade. I mean, it's lined up all around town. And so, no, we're not upset. We just want it to be the best day ever for everybody.
100%.
And so when the behind the scenes people, it's stressful and they're trying to get the work done, you know, we want it to be great for you, but we also want it to be great for our city staff as
Correct.
well. You know, because we have a really good collaborative relationship together, and we just want to continue that.
So I think we're all on the same page about the parking lot, like
Yes.
block all the exits but one, and the one exit, they have to go north and they can't go back towards the parade route.
Well, they'd also have to block Austin Street as well, because people parked on it and then jetted out to go down 14th, and they're coming at the parade. So it's several
Yeah, we
roads,
have
but yeah.
we have to make the area non-porous. We have to shut
Okay.
it down.
And will you guys coordinate, I guess you guys can coordinate to see how many
Oh, by
extra
all means.
bodies you need in
Yeah.
each point.
Okay.
The other thing that I don't feel like we really resolved is the stopping and going of the parade.
You're right.
I think sounds like we're all in agreement that the speeches and the stopping to cheer has to stop. The band situation, I feel like we kind of left open-ended. It seems like Chief doesn't think that they're slowing down the flow of the parade, the band.
No, I think the band I believe the band can continue to do its military turn at 12th and Broadway. We'll bring the rest of the parade around the 11th Street the way we've done before, because that's a major change if we don't do that. That way we keep all the viewing open to that. And we will basically coordinate pulling from 11th onto Broadway with the band turning and just keep everything moving from that point. If the band doesn't play, I always thought they played.
No, they just stand there and wait.
They literally just stand there.
And then I've got on the lineup as I'm announcing, they know, Nathan Long knows, okay, it's time to get them ready, get them lined up, and there's a small gap for them to go out and do that, and they just do their
So I
thing.
always had just music in my mind. So,
We do play some music up on the grandstand, but
oh, I mean, are they carrying their instruments?
They're literally like
They
pushed
stop.
up against the stoplight
Yeah.
corner intersection and just stand there. Yeah.
Okay. So that's fine, we'll make that work, but it's
Okay.
just a matter of once it gets going, keeping it
Right.
going, and the announcers can still announce, but we just won't have the speeches, in my opinion, or consideration.
And I mean, I could be wrong. We do a Christmas parade. I don't know if you've ever seen it. And we have, Kim runs down the middle of Broadway in a golf cart, keeping it going.
And I
You
have
can
someone
get
to do
your
that this
golf
year.
carts out, if you
Yeah.
want to, and keep them moving along the way. I think my last thing was, we had a little bit last year where people were running out to get the candy, and then trucks and things were stopping while kids got
Correct.
candy. Maybe a little help in the main part of Broadway of not letting kids run all the way out to cars to
we had
stop.
adults throwing
think that
footballs
that's
in the
the parents.
road last year, so
Oh, true.
that was
I
fun.
mean, I'm sorry, but that is the parents. I mean,
Yeah.
really.
We
parents
do
need
make
to just
announcements
do-
from the,
yeah,
when I
a
see that, I'm
better
like,
job
hey,
of that.
I always make
Okay, good.
announcements.
Yeah.
I make
Perfect.
it known
Perfect.
that, yeah.
And the golf cart person can yell at people too.
Yeah, they can. Golf
I
cart
can
person.
find
Is
someone
that
to do that,
you?
no problem.
Yeah, that might be fun, yeah.
Maybe as we're communicating with families and sending stuff home with students, maybe we add on there, hey, like, because what's going to happen is someone's gonna get hit or something bad is gonna happen, and then they're not gonna be allowed to throw candy anymore, which is what happened to Blue Springs.
Right.
And their parades are lame.
But you tell all the kids, like, they gotta throw it down and throw it out.
Out,
But
yeah,
that's the thing, is it doesn't get thrown all the way out, so the little ones run.
which is natural.
Well,
Yeah.
You have to pass a test to be able to throw the candy. You have to be able to throw a certain distance. Yeah.
Okay, so tonight, ladies, you can either approve the permit not as is with some, add-ons to it, or you can wait. I mean, we have plenty of time, and Chief and the district can talk and figure out everything and bring back the permit with everything you talked about. It's up to you.
I don't think we need to make them wait. As long as
Yeah.
she feels
Yeah,
good about it,
I
then.
agree.
Totally.
Yeah.
They can make that conversation. And then, Chief, you could just communicate that with them of how it
Yes,
is,
you
so
bet.
they
I have
know.
spoken with Mrs. Hampton as
Perfect.
recently as this morning.
Yep.
This is an up-and-coming thing. We're going to make sure that everything's in play so that it runs smoothly. And there's always going to be hiccups. I
Yeah,
will
oh,
not
totally.
deny that something may happen, but we're going to try to pull it off to our best ability and stop the gaps.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. All right, I
Thank
appreciate you coming
Of
tonight.
course.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you
you.
very
you.
much.
Just like, do you need a motion?
I do,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Right? Do we need, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we got lost in it. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Approval of it.
I make a motion to approve the permit sent forth by the Oak Grove School District with the, I don't know, I'm using a lot of big words.
Special event. I know.
With the,
Just
like
the permit.
contingencies that they work with the police department regarding the extra volunteers around the First Baptist parking lot.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the special event permit for
Hold off the top.
City of Oak, for school district of Oak Grove for the bonfire and for, you didn't even talk about the bonfire, and for the homecoming parade. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is information reports. Mr. Randall?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Chris?
No report, thank you, Mayor.
Mark?
No report, thank you, Mayor.
Chief?
No report, thank you.
Corey?
I do have one, yes. Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to update the board on an emergency repair that I had requested on September 9th through the mayor and city administrator. And in your packet is some literature and some pictures for your review there if you would like. North Water Master Meter Vault has a couple faulty valves, and they are starting to, we've known about one since roughly July, and we've been monitoring it. It's progressively been getting worse, and since then, the second one, we only have two, has started to show signs of it becoming faulty as well. So these are custom-built valves that regulate the water pressure coming from Independence. As you know, that's where we get our water supply from. And when they go bad, they either go bad and allow too much pressure through, which is catastrophic for our system. It's not built for that. Or they don't allow enough water through, which is some of the symptoms we're experiencing. We have managed to get a technician out to kind of tinker with them, if you will. And that has bought us a little bit of time while we wait on these new valves to be built. They're custom ordered. We expect them to be in by mid-October. Once they come in, we'll get them installed as soon as possible, utilizing city staff as well. Was able to obtain 3 quotes. Those are there for your review if you would like. We went with FTC. And if you had any questions regarding that, I'd be happy to try to answer them for you.
Thank you, Corey. Ladies, any questions?
Nope.
None?
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that report, Corey. Kim? Scott? Rachel?
No report.
Kelly?
No report.
Tracy?
No report.
Pam?
No report.
No report for myself as well. I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
You're so good.